Okay, go.
I'm going to explain how to put the pelham on first. Just to run through the parts of this bridle. First of all, the bit. Mouth guards on either side of the mouth. We have a curb chain, which I've left undone for the moment to help us put it on. We have the cavesson noseband with the standing martingale, and 4 reins in this instance. We can actually put running reins through the top ring if we want to, but I'll show you that on the gag later. Now, I'll tack up from the near side of the horse, and the first thing we'll do is put the reins and martingale yoke over his head, and once we've got that over his head, we can now undo the head collar, and if he starts to walk away, we've now got a hold of him, so he's not going to go anywhere. Next thing is to put, so my preferred technique of putting a bit on like this is to hold the top of the bridle in my right hand, and with my left hand put the bit in his mouth. Now, some horses are reluctant to open their mouths at this stage, but with your thumb, if you just insert that into the side of the mouth, they'll nearly always open the mouth and accept the bit. Once that's in, just quickly put over the, you don't want to hang around, quickly put the top of the bridle over the ears, the brow band, in that position. Next thing is to make sure the bit is in the right place. Now, with a pelham, we're looking for a little bit of wrinkling, if you like, of the mouth. That's about right. Any tighter than that is just going to be too high in his mouth. Any looser than that, and you risk him putting his tongue over the bit. So once we've got that in position, we'll do up the curb chain. Now, this is something to check for that your groom's done right just before you get on the horse, before a chucker, say. This curb chain needs to be flat against the chin of the horse, okay? So once it's done up, that curb chain needs to be straight, and you can loop the end of the chain over so it's not dangling. Now, what we're looking for when we're looking for how tight you want your curb chain is about 45 degrees rotation. So if you stand in front of the horse, rotate the bit through about 45 degrees, and you can see that it's hitting about there, and that's about right. The way this bit works is pressure on bars of the mouth. That's why it's quite it can be a severe bit if in the wrong hands. Once we've got that, once that's in place, the next thing is to do the throat lash up, which is this part around the chin of the horse, under his throat. Don't want that too tight, obviously. It's just to stop the whole thing falling off the front. He gets caught up in a ride-off or something. Make sure those keepers are in. Once the bridle's in place, next thing we're going to do is move to the saddle. I'm going to use quite a thin saddle blanket, which is really fine for this horse, and it's got some loops on it to attach to the saddle, stop it slipping back. Once that's in place, again from the near side, usually put the saddle on. So quite gently put it into place. Make sure there's enough clearance. This saddle fits quite well. Enough clearance here between the pommel and the withers, and at the back also it's not pressing down at any point on the spine. Okay, we're going to now attach the girth. I like to use these, what they call humane girths. They are easy to clean, very strong, and they're wide, so they don't dig in too much to the horse. They're elasticated on both sides. Makes it easier to do up, but you can over tighten them if you're not careful, so you have to watch that. I'm going to just put this through the loop, so it's not going to slip at any stage, and we will attach the back strap to the saddle. Now, bearing in mind that if the horse wanders off at this stage, nothing too bad is going to happen, because the saddle isn't attached to him yet, so it's not going to start dragging on the floor if something spooks him and he starts to go off. But we will now do the girth up. So the girth will go through the loop at the end of the standing martingale, making sure that that loop ends up in the middle of his chest. If it's off to one side, it can rub quite nastily. And then I start to do the girth up. Just not too much to start with, just lightly. And there's quite a little bit of play there. And we can now put the breastplate on. Okay, now we're going to put the breastplate on. I actually like to attach the breastplate to the first strap of the girth, like that. Some people like to do it on the second strap. It's a matter of preference. Okay, now the top strap will then go over the horse's withers, and this part of the breastplate will be underneath, end up underneath the martingale. Do the breastplate up about there, loop it in, make sure the keepers are all in and tight, and then now this breastplate is going to be a little long, so we'll need to adjust it all the way to the top there. So that breastplate is now adjusted, and it'll be attached to the first girth strap, like so, and the girth can be done up. It's a good idea when you do the girth up. Some horses react to this a little more than others. Once we've got it in position, my hand can easily fit under there. It's not tight at all. But I like at this stage to walk the horse forward, so it knows that the girth is actually there. Once he's comfortable with that, then we can start tightening it a little more. I don't like to over-girth a horse at all. Okay, most people then use an over-girth or surcingle, which I'll show you quickly how to put on. So over the saddle, the buckle on this side, the offside, and most polo saddles have a slit or a loop that this can go through. This one has one here, so this can be a little awkward. The buckle goes through there, and we'll go to the other side, do the same thing. And then you've got your surcingle in place. Now this will then be done up. Again, this passes through the loop of the martingale and then is done up underneath. And this is tightened once the girth is as tight as you want it. That's the last thing that is tightened up. Once that's done, keepers need to be in position, and it's ready to go. The last check, once the horse is fully tacked up, I like to come round to the front of the horse, look the horse square on, and just check everything's in place. Keepers are all in where they should be. you've got the bit in the right place, the right height, double check that. You've got the rotation right. Cavesson noseband is a little bit out of whack, that's fine there now. As a rule of thumb, the nose, this is a little bit high. I like to have the cavesson about 3 fingers below the end of this bone here. So as you can see, that's a little bit high. So what I can do quickly is lengthen it by a hole. See if that works. And there we have the noseband in a better place. And we've got about 3 fingers there, and that's about right. Check that all the keepers are in. This is really important. You don't want your don't want bits of leather flapping around while you're playing. It's really, well, it can distract the horse and it can distract you. So you want everything. This is a really important thing to check before you get on as well. All the keepers are in where they should be.